Alright guys, welcome back. We are looking at the review for the quadrilaterals and polygons test. First shout out to Brian De La Rosa for leaving a comment on the last video. You get a free practice 100 on the next 6 weeks. So yeah, don't forget guys, subscribe to this channel, leave positive comments, school appropriate ones, and then you get free hundreds on your homework too. All right, number one, the 4 points of a rectangle are A, 3, 4, B, 7, 4, C, 7, -2, and D, 3, -2. What are the coordinates of the points where AC intersects BD? So if you're in a rectangle, the diagonals are the same length, and they are bisected because it's a parallelogram. So you're going to be using midpoint. We looked at this in class. So you could do the midpoint of AC, which using A and C, you're going to do x1 plus x2 yeah, as usual, great pen. Anyway, so you're going to get 7 plus 3 over 2 for the x's, and you're going to get 4 plus -2 over 2. Right? 7 plus 3 is 10. 4 plus -2 is 2. And that's going to give you 5, 1. That's it. If you use B and D, you get the exact same answers. And what you'll see is you get almost the exact same numbers except the 3 and the 7 switch when you look at it, right? Because if you choose B as 0.1 and D as 0.2, actually I did that for AC, so they might even be the same. But it's 7 and 3 for the X's, 4 and -2 for the Y. So you get the same one either way. Name the properties of the rhombus. So I guess I'll write them out, but it'll be a lot easier if you listen. Can I do text? So yes, I can apparently do text. So the first one is all properties of parallelogram. Right, so there's 5 properties of a parallelogram. Those are all part of the rhombus right off the bat. And those are opposite sides parallel, hence parallelogram, opposite sides congruent, opposite angles congruent, diagonals bisect, and consecutive angles are supplementary. They'll add to 180. Okay, so all that's already true right off the bat. Then, as part of a rhombus, you have 4 congruent angles. Not angels. You have diagonals that are perpendicular. So we'll say perpendicular diagonals. And the last one is diagonals are angle bisectors. I don't know why I capitalized that, but we're too far in. Bisectors. Bisect.org. Stop trying to. What? Bisectors. All right. So yeah. So those are the properties that work for the rhombus. Oh, and they're not going to stay. Magic. Now they stay. Totally didn't pause it and fix things. Number 3. Given the following rectangular path, HE is 8.5. and you start at point E. So they're going to have you walk a path, but the important thing to know is in a rectangle, the diagonals are congruent and bisected. So what that means is all the halves of the diagonals are congruent. So that, and that are all the same. So we're going to use a blue pen for the path. So you go from E to F, that's 8. You go from F to H, that's 8.5. You go from H to G, that's another 8.5. You go from G back to F, that's 15. Add all that up, you go 40 units, whatever units they may be. Okay. In rhombus ABCD, the measure of A is 75 degrees. Find the measure of the other three angles. Well, a rhombus, there's a couple ways to do this. So you have angle B, angle C, and angle D. In a rhombus, if you, just kind of draw it in that basic formation, as a parallelogram family member, opposite angles are congruent. So if A is 75, C is 75, right off the bat, right? Opposite angles congruent. Number four. Sorry, I feel like I'm distracted. I don't know why. Consecutive angles in a parallelogram will be supplementary. So B and D have to add up to 180 with the 75s. So if you do a very simple 180 minus 75, you get 105. And that's true for B, and that's true for D. Those are the other angles. 5, solve for X. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 angles that are exterior. Exterior angles always add up to 180. So you're going to do 6x plus, and then just go around. 10 plus the 20 plus the 100 plus the 60 plus the 50. And all of that should equal 360. And I've got no room for that. So we'll solve it first. You got 6x plus all of these numbers combined give you 240. All right, and that equals 360. So simple algebra. Six x equals 120. Divide by 6. X equals 20. Okay, pretty simple there. It's solving the algebra. Go up to number 6. Ignore that. This is supposed to be point T. Find the measure of WXY. WXY talks about that angle there. Now, it's a rhombus. You don't have right angles, so it seems like you might be a little unsure. Except, one of the properties, if you look back at number 2, is diagonals of a rhombus or angle bisectors. That means that ZX, this diagonal here, cuts Z and X in half, and you'll see 34 here means you also have 34 here. So altogether, that makes Z 68, and because opposite angles will be congruent, that makes this 68. XYZ, XYZ, now we're talking about this angle here. And again, as part of that parallelogram property, you're going to subtract because they're supplementary. X and Y should add up to 180 if you put them together. When you subtract them, that gives you 112. And then the third question, WTX. That's right there. Those are perpendicular, so that's simply 90 degrees. Excuse me. All right. A regular polygon has an interior angle measure of 108 degrees. What is the number of sides of the polygon? So there's an algebraic way to solve this, which takes a lot more steps, and so I think we're just going to focus on the shortcut because that's easier. And as long as you show these 2 steps, that's fine. So if you're given an interior angle measure and asked to find the number of sides, it's 2 steps. Step 1, subtract the angle they give you from 180. Auto group, no, you auto group. 180 minus 108 is 72. Step 2, divide 360 by the answer you got from the previous part. 360 divided by 72 is 5. So this shape will have 5 sides. That's it. Much easier. On number 9, it's also supposed to tell you that AB is equal to BF. And so the point here is F, you do the same slope you get from from CD to go CF. So a couple things you can kind of tell from the units, like point A is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. I tell you, this pen, you just try to write stuff and nothing works. D is at 5. It's supposed to be at 5, negative 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. So when you're at B, B is at negative 2, 4. And so, from positive 5 to negative 7, that's 7 units. So if you think about being here and going back negative 7 units, that's going to take you to negative 9. If you think about C being 2 units from D, from here to C, which is at negative 2, 0, trying to write a 2, and it's not even making, this is ridiculous. So from being at negative 2 going up 2 units, you go over the 7 up 2, that will put you at positive 2. So you should be F at negative 9, 2. Okay? Just follow the slopes. Like even if you didn't want to do all the thing on the top, you got to count where the points are. Over 7 up 2, go over 7 up 2 the same way, and it takes you back to your point. 10, the diagram shows a rhombus. Determine if each statement is true. PMR is 90. PMR is right here. Yes, those are 90-degree angles, perpendicular. PM does not equal PM does not equal MS. Does that equal that? It does. So that's a false statement. PM should equal MS because they're diagonals that are bisected, cut in half. So that's false. PM does not equal MR. Will this also be the same here to here? No. That's true. They're not equal. The diagonals in a rhombus do not have the same length. If they did, they'd be a rectangle. Is PR parallel to QS? Yeah. Those are parallel. It's already, it's a rhombus, so opposite sides parallel. All right. Front page took a little while. Sorry about some of that. Back page, definitely be quicker. Or not. Who knows? All right, let me see something real quick. Lock rotation. Okay. So which quadrilateral is the following shape? Justify your answer. This is a rhombus. A couple things going on here. So you can see the diagonals. I can't even circle that, man. This pen, I'm gonna go crazy. This and this shows you that that's cut in half. That and that shows you they're cut in half, but different lengths. So the diagonals don't equal the same thing. And then the key here is the perpendicular diagonals, right? So a square has all that, but then there's nothing else to tell you the angles are 90 degrees in the corner. So the farthest you can go is a rhombus. Given rectangle EFGH, determine if each statement is true or false. Is DE equal to GF? Yes, in a rectangle, those are going to be the same. That's true. Is DH equal to HF? Yes. The two parts of one diagonal are cut directly in half, so they will be the same length. Is EG equal to FD? Yes, diagonals are congruent in a rectangle. Is EFG 90 degrees? EFG, yes, every corner of a rectangle is a right angle. Is GHF 90 degrees? GHF, no, false. In a rectangle, you don't have perpendicular diagonals, otherwise that's a rhombus. 13, use the figure below to find the value of x. So this is actually the problem from that little half-page quiz, but many of you missed it, so let's go back over. 4 sides, quadrilateral. Some of you know quadrilaterals add up to 360. That's good. Even if you didn't, n minus 2 times 180 will tell you 360. And then so you have to add everything up, including this 60. A lot of people were doing the math on this and not including that. It's an angle. I know you've already found it. That doesn't mean it's not part of the 360 you have to add up to. That's important. Again, it's only 360 because of a quadrilateral. If it's a triangle, it's 180. If it's a pentagon, that's what, 540. It depends on how many sides you have. Now, these add up 9x. I mean, it's just algebra at this point, right? Minus the 60, 9x equals 300, divide by 9, x equals 33.333. It just says find x. I know on the quiz we actually have to plug it back in, which, again, some of you did not do, but this one just says find x. So follow the directions, answer the question they ask. All right, number 14, Lizette is drawing a regular polygon. She has drawn 2 of the sides with an interior angle of 120 degrees as shown below. When Lizette completes the regular polygon, what should be the sum in degrees of the measure of interior angles? So this is a lot like number 7, except it doesn't just ask how many sides, it asks what the sum is. So once you find the number n, then you got to plug that into n minus 2 times 180. So let's go. This is 2 steps. 180 minus 120, that's 60. Then it's 360 divided by 60, which is 6. So 6 sides, but what they want to know is what does a 6-sided shape add up to? So 6 minus 2 times 180 is 720. Make sure to answer the question. You answer 6, it's not going to be right if the question's like this. The figure 15 shows 3 points on a coordinate plane. Suppose you want to add a 4th point from a parallelogram. what should the coordinate of the fourth point, point D, be? I think originally we had a graph on here that had points labeled, so don't worry about the point D part. But again, like on the front page, this just has to do with slope. So the way they're lined up, and if you can't see them, they're there, and right there, right? So obviously that fourth point's going to be somewhere out here. Did you notice how right there it wouldn't make the circle? It's just weird. This pen, technology. But enough about me. So it's not multiple choice, so you can't kind of, just process of elimination, plot them all. So it's real simple, though. So you look from here to there, not like that. This thing. What am I going to do? Let's try that again. Excuse me. Okay. You should have the same slope from here to here. So from that point, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back 2, right? And so you're going to have the same slope from this bottom point to wherever the new point is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back 2, that's your new point. And that point is located at negative 1, 2, 3, 4, positive 1, 2, 3. Right there. Yeah. And then the last question is actually the same type of question written slightly differently. So ST is parallel to CD, the same length is parallel to CD and is the same length, excuse me. What is the coordinate of point D? So you have T and S. So if you look at this, because you need to find point D down here, go down and over. If you're at 10 here and negative 2 here, you went back 12, right? And if you're at 8 here and 4 here, you went back 4. So going from, whoop, try that again. From C to D, you've got to go down 12, back 4. We are at 0, 10. So down 12 is going to take you to a negative 2, and back 4 is going to take you to a negative 4. So point D should be at negative 4, negative 2, and that's it. So hopefully that wasn't too bad. You do have to memorize some of the properties as far as the rectangle, the parallelogram family, I should say, the parallelogram, rhombus, rectangle, square, which ones do have certain things, which ones don't. And then some of the kite and trapezoid, I'd also look at those, even though they may not have been on this review. Keep those in mind. All right, so hopefully you do well. Look at the review, look at this video. Be ready for tomorrow. Bye.